Good afternoon, and welcome to the 11th Annual International Partnering Institute Awards Ceremony, what we are calling IPI Live 2020. Thank you for joining us for our first ever live virtual event. I would like to start by thanking San Francisco International Airport for allowing us to hold our event in their new media room this year. I would also like to thank our students and professors from the Cal Poly Event Industry Management program. Our students helped us meet our challenge to quickly pivot and help bring to you this year's virtual ceremony. Today's agenda includes a welcome from Board President Ivar Satero, an intro to our new Executive Director, scaled partnering research from Michigan State University, and of course, amazing projects and teams vying for the Partnered Project of the Year award. In a perfect world, we would all be together to celebrate. You'd be sitting at a table with your teammates, of course at an appropriate social distance. In the real world, you're likely sitting at home with unruly hair and hopefully you have pants on at your desktop. In any event, please make sure to keep your email at the ready. After the Collaborative Project Awards, I'll be asking some IPI trivia-related questions. To participate, please email your responses to ed@partneringinstitute.org. That's ed@partneringinstitute.org. The winners of the trivia contest will be announced at the end of the ceremony during our cocktail hour. To help welcome you to our event this year, I'd like to introduce the President of the IPI Board of Directors and SFO Airport Director, Ivar Satero.
Welcome, everyone. It's great to have you with us here today. Welcome to the 11th Annual IPI Awards Ceremony and first ever live virtual event. We're so pleased to honor partnering efforts of 18 projects, one fantastic individual, and one outstanding organization this year. And you know, like every organization, 2020 has been an important year of transition for IPI. We started the year concerned about the future of the organization. We had lost our executive director, we had to deal with a changing financial climate, and then of course, COVID-19 hit, and we all began to shelter in place. We had to take a hard look at our finances and have difficult conversations. In May of this year, IPI's board of directors began to regroup. We began to use the video conferencing tools to reconnect as a board and agreed that IPI was needed now by our industry more than ever. I believe this dialogue has brought us together as a board, and we're getting back on solid footing moving forward. You know, and I think my own experience and how partnering has served us during this crisis at SFO, it has allowed us to make our projects continue to progress and achieve what our expectations around collaboration and execution and communication and all of those things that are fundamental to partnering, especially during this crisis. And it's become so clear to me that partnering helps us manage through even these most difficult of times. And so I'm doubly convinced the work we're doing is so important, and I'm thanking all of you for being here and engaging in partnering in your projects. And we're so pleased to announce that we have selected one of our founding fathers, Stuart Seiden, as our new executive director. Stuart has been working in the construction industry as an architect for more than 40 years since he graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Stuart has worked on the client side for more than 20 years, serving as the capital projects manager for the County of Fresno for 16 years. And Stuart has 5 years as the facilities manager of Visalia Unified School District, and prior to that worked in private practice as an architect. In addition to IPI, Stuart has volunteered and served boards of the Construction Specifications Institute, Fresno Chapter, and the Visalia Chamber of Commerce. Please make sure to join me in welcoming Stuart Seiden.
Thank you, Ivar, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to IPI Live 2020. I would like to thank our premier sponsor, DeSilva Gates Construction. We deeply appreciate your support. And this sponsorship goes directly towards IPI programming and supports our mission to change the culture of construction for many years to come. And thank you to our diamond level sponsors, Hensel Phelps, SFO, and OrgMetrics LLC, as well as our sapphire sponsors, Sierra Mountain Construction, RS&H, and Tykert Construction. The funds from our members and sponsors go toward producing events such as this, fund the research on collaboration by Michigan State University, and other activities of IPI. IPI's mission is to transform the construction industry to achieve exceptional results through a culture of collaboration. IPI is comprised of owners, contractors, engineers, architects, construction managers, subcontractors, materials suppliers, technology companies, and partnering facilitators who believe there are better ways to build projects. Together, we are the community of IPI. This year, we're establishing 3 new committees for members to participate. They are Awards and Research, Education and Training, Membership and Sponsorship. And this fall, we will launch the IPI MSU Research, a more in-depth dive into today's presentation. We urge you to get involved. Email me at stuartseiden@partneringinstitute.org or call me at 925-447-9100. So join a committee, become a member, be part of the cultural change of construction. And so partnering by the numbers. This year, we had $836 million in total construction value, $93 million savings attributed to collaboration on the 17 IPI award-winning projects. 13 of 17 were on budget, 11 of 17 were on schedule or ahead of schedule, 9 projects had perfect safety records, and of course, no claims. The 17 award-winning teams invested $846,000 in partnering facilitation, and once again demonstrated outstanding value, where a dollar invested in partnering yielded $110 in savings. And now for our keynote speech. I'm very pleased to introduce our research partners from Michigan State University who will be sharing highlights from the most recent IPI research collaboration. Please welcome Sinem Malolo, Harsh Kalbor, and Rob Ray to tell us about the MSU research we are calling Scaled for Success.
This is Rob Ray on behalf of the IPI Board of Directors, and I'm so excited to be back with Michigan State University's lead researchers, Sinem Malolo and Harsh Kalbor, who will be presenting their new paper called Scaled for Success, Aligning Partnering and Risk Levels to Optimize Project Performance. We're so excited about this research, and the paper will be going out this fall. If you want an advanced copy, and you're an IPI member, that's free for you, and by participating in this awards event, you can get yourself a free copy as well. Please email us at ed@partneringinstitute.org so you can be on the list and make sure that you get your advanced copy. We'll be presenting this in depth later this fall, but we're so excited to present some highlights from this outstanding research. On behalf of Michigan State University, I present to you Dr. Sinem Malolo. She's a professor and program director of the Construction Management Program and the School of Planning, Design, and Construction at Michigan State University. And Harsh Kalbor, who just recently received his master's in construction management from Michigan State University, and is a project engineer for Performance Contracting Inc. in Sacramento. He's also one of our founding young professionals for IPI. So we're so pleased and proud to have him presenting his research today. Sinem?
Wonderful. Thanks for the introductions, Rob. So I'd like to tell that we're grateful that we have had a history of collaboration between IPI and Michigan State University. It's been about 7 years. The collaboration had quite a bit of fruits, as you can see. We started with barriers to partnering study 7 years ago. Then we had a meta-analytics and thesis report for partnering and looking at the extensive literature on it for the past 10, 20 or so years. Then we recently collaborated with the IPI community in a variety of levels to produce a report for ACRP, a guidebook for integrating collaborative partnering into traditional airport practices, was published as a result of that collaboration. Now today, we are here to present to you our most recent and probably the favorite to date report scaled for success project. And without further ado, I'd like to leave the floor to Harsh, as he was the lead graduate assistant on this work, working with me diligently to produce this report. Harsh?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Seedham and Rob, for the wonderful introduction. And it's quite an honor for me to be presenting my research to this distinguished and brilliant group of experienced patrons of partnering. And without further ado, let me dive real quick into the background of this research. Well, what makes this research unique is that it is a statistical research, and that's rare in the field of partnering. The reason being very simple: there is not a sample pool of projects available that is large enough, diverse enough, and that's detailed enough to warrant a statistical investigation. And although conceptual theories support that scaled partnering practices are effective in risk management, there is no empirical evidence as to if more partnering equals improved or better project performance. For this research, the sample pool of projects we had was about 127 projects that applied to the John L. Martin Partner Project of the Year Awards between 2010 and 2018, and they came from 13 different US states. And if you look at the diversity of projects across project type, they came from all three sectors: horizontal civil construction projects, vertical building construction, and aviation projects. And there's also quite the mix of projects based on their project delivery type. So we have design bid build, design build, CM at risk, and SGC. So the research question that we asked ourselves at the beginning of this research was, on partnered projects, how does the relationship of fit between the implemented partnering level as compared to its risk level impact key performance metrics such as schedule, cost, etc. So the number one task we had at hand was first to assess the risk level and partnering level of these various projects that we had in our pool. The natural first start was to look at the IPI scalability matrices. We then dug deeper into more literature to make our assessment more comprehensive and detailed. We then assessed each project in our pool for its risk level and partnering level, and then reached out to the project participants and experts, the partnering facilitators on these projects, to validate our assessment. The next task was to define what we meant by fit, or the relationship between partnering and risk on these projects. And the way we defined it was, we call it a negative fit if the partnering level on these projects was below the risk level that these projects displayed. If the partnering level was aligned or equal to the risk level, we called it a neutral fit. And for projects that went above and beyond and implemented a partnering level higher than the risk level, we called it a positive fit. The next step was to conduct statistical investigation as to if this fit impacted key performance metrics such as schedule and cost and participant satisfaction. So the first metric that we studied was schedule growth. And what we found was projects that implemented a negative fit, that is, their partnering level was below their risk level, were delayed by about 30%. This is not uncommon on projects that implement a low partnering level or no partnering at all. However, as soon as projects started aligning their partnering level to the risk level, as you can see, neutral fit projects, the schedule growth was just about 4%, which is almost on schedule. What's really exciting was there is statistical evidence that if the partnering level on a project exceeds its risk level, there's an average schedule savings about 4%. So these projects are ahead of schedule by 4%. The next metric we looked at was cost growth. And what was interesting was across the board, irrespective of the fit, these projects showed savings in cost ranging from about 1.2% and 1.7% for the negative and neutral fit, respectively. And again, what was really exciting was major savings were realized when the projects implemented a positive fit of about almost 5%. The last metric that we looked at was an increase in participant satisfaction. The participants of these projects in the sample pool were asked to rate their satisfaction levels at the start of the project and at the end of the project. And what was discovered was, just like cost growth, irrespective of fit, there is an increase in participant satisfaction. Participants leave the project more satisfied than they were when they started the project. And, lo and behold, no surprises at this point. If the partnering level exceeds your risk level, the increase in this participant satisfaction is about 12.5%. That's pretty significant. So to sum it up, in conclusion, we can say that scaled partnering works. Like projects that implement partnering, irrespective of the fit, show savings in budget and an improvement in participant satisfaction. Neutral fit projects are under budget, almost on schedule, and show an increase in participant satisfaction. And what was really exciting, one of the highlights of our research was that if partnering is scaled in a positive manner, that is a higher partnering level compared to risk, projects are actually ahead of schedule and about 4% and 5% under budget. That's room for scope additions, more, and savings. And last but not the least, participants leave the project about 12.5% more satisfied than when they started the project. That's pretty exciting for us. So over to you, Rob.
Well, thank you so much again, Harsh, for sharing the highlights from this research report. To me, there's a couple things that are standing out when I read through this research. The first is that it's validating what we know works. And it's also accomplishing something that the board of directors set out to do 11 years ago when they met for the first time. So the first thing that the board of directors talked about was we need to figure out a way to validate that partnering works. And this is one of the first research studies where we actually seen empirical evidence across delivery methods, across methodologies, where it's demonstrating the stuff we know was that budget and schedule and participant satisfaction can improve when we use a more scaled partnering process. The other thing is we've learned over the years that scaled partnering tends to work better. In other words, a 2-day workshop at the beginning of the job is not as effective as following up regularly throughout the project so we can deal with our issues in real time. So seeing this evidence is very, very exciting for all of us who have been looking at partnering research over the past 7 years. Sinem, talk to me about, from the researcher's perspective, what stood out to them.
One of the important deliverables of this work was a solid risk assessment, risk intensity assessment, and partnering level assessment tool. That's not only rooted in the peer-reviewed literature, but also validated through objective data. Harsh mentioned, but we surveyed project participants from this pool of 127 projects and objectively verified the assessment tool that was developed. So I think that's a solid deliverable of the research report. And of course, it's the first empirical and quantitative study that shows statistical evidence to the value of the fit between the risk intensity and partnering level in projects. And we're proud, happy to be a part of that.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Sinem and Harsh, for your outstanding work in support of this report. IPI members, as I said from the top, you can download it from the IPI website when it's ready this fall. We're going to have a launch event to support this research. And for those of you who are sponsoring events and looking to support IPI, please continue that effort. It helps us continue this 7-year research project and program with Michigan State University. To me, it's one of the key things that IPI can do. We can recognize our projects and our peers, and we also can sponsor research that helps push partnering forward and allows us to keep innovating and taking this stuff to the next level. So thank you both so much. Honored to have you, and stay tuned. Email us at ed@partneringinstitute.org if you want to get an advanced copy. Thank you all again.
Thank you very much. It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you to our research team for showing us how structured partnering is working so well and giving us the demonstration that we need, that we've been asking for. Now I'd like to thank the co-chairs of the awards committee, Larry Eisenberg and Richard Grubinski, and the judges, Cinda Bond, Matt Mascaro, Eric Sanderson, Rob Smedley, Caitlin Stewart, Peter Warhunski, Lisa Watada, Chase Wells, Mike Wills, and Michelle Wu. Each project was judged within a category of similar projects and could receive a maximum of 105 points. The projects were reviewed and rated based on detailed criteria by each judge. Then as a group, they met and discussed their scores and determined the level of award each project earned based on its average score. Collaborative Projects of the Year may earn gold, silver, or bronze awards. And Partnered Projects of the Year are awarded based upon their successful implementation of collaborative partnering. Projects with 75 to 79 points receive honorable mention. Those with 80 to 89 points are sapphire level. Projects receiving 90 to 99 points are ruby level, and those with 100 to 105 points are diamond level. We're pleased to start the awards program this afternoon with the Collaborative Project Awards. IPI launched this program last year to honor outstanding project teams that deliver exceptional outcomes without using a formally facilitated process. Please join us in supporting this year's successful applicant, State Highway 45 Southwest Toll Road in Austin, Texas. The owner is a Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority. The prime was McCarthy Building Companies, designer Rodriguez Transportation Group, the CM was WSP and RS&H, and engineering and inspection was by Jacobs. The $79.3 million construction project that was finished $3 million under the $105 million project budget. The team remodeled an existing sharp curve at the main Mopac interchange that was having up to 3 accidents per week. The team had 3 goals. Number 1 was to implement innovative solutions to reduce congestion and enhance the quality of life. Number 2 was to deliver the project safely, on schedule and within budget. And number 3 was to protect the aquifer. For project outcomes, the project was completed in 482 days, 63 days ahead of schedule. They completed construction 5 months early. They improved safety of the roadway and saved $100,000 through eliminating phases and not requiring 5 months of traffic control. For collaboration, they co-located the project team, which led to improved collaboration and communication for all. Collaboration between the Mobility Authority, the City of Austin, Travis County, Hayes County, and more than 40 others to protect the Edwards Aquifer, a key water source for millions in the area. They saved $500,000 through resequencing utilities at the Bliss Spillar. Join me in congratulating the State Highway 45 Southwest Toll Road Project team for their silver level collaborative partnering award.
Questions have been answered already. Some of these questions are going to be answered later on, so I hope you've been taking notes and got your email queued up. The first question is this: for every dollar invested in partnering, how much did our team save? Question 2: which team had the most schedule savings of any 2020 award winner? Question 3: how many IPI award-winning projects were involved in the Michigan State University study? And 4: who are members of IPI? Owners, client organizations, B, contractors and subs, C, architects and engineers, D, material suppliers, E, partnering facilitators, or F, all of the above. Answers and the trivia winners will be revealed later during our cocktail celebration with H. Joseph Ehrman from Elixir. And now, it's time for Stuart to begin presenting our Partnered Project of the Year Awards.
So our Partnered Project of the Year Awards. The IPI John L. Martin Partnered Projects of the Year, honorable mention. First, we have the Powdered Activated Carbon System under Category 1, Public Infrastructure. The owner of the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, the prime is Anvil Builders, and the partnering facilitator was J.B. Rom, Ph.D. This $6.4 million project is the first phase attempt to improve the taste and odor of water processed through the San Francisco PUC Sunol Valley Water Treatment Plant. This was a first of its kind project for the San Francisco PUC. In project outcomes, they had a perfect safety record, completed the project within the budget contingency and the amended schedule. And they saved an estimated $3 million due to collaboration. That's $1 for every $401 of construction saved. The issues resolved through collaboration were: the team focused on shortening submittal reviews to 1.5 weeks in order to support the procurement schedule. The team value engineered $2 million of scope out of the project. The team developed a Plan B document where they identified workarounds to control the flow rate between milestones if procuring materials took longer. And they developed and ultimately implemented the effort at no additional cost to the project. They had face-to-face meetings between the construction team and design engineers, which streamlined the resolution of field issues. So congratulations to the Powdered Activated Carbon System project team for your honorable mention award. Next up, we have SR-28 Lake Tahoe East Shore Trail, Civil Construction Category 2. The owner is Nevada Department of Transportation, the prime is Granite Construction Company, designer is Jacobs, and the partnering facilitator is Pinnacle Leadership Group. This $41.9 million construction management at risk project called the Impossible Trail, due to its 9 funding partners and 13 entities that made up the stakeholders group that own the corridor management plan within a highly sensitive environmental area overlooking one of the West Coast's most beautiful sceneries. For project outcomes, they finished in June 2019 in 4 seasons, and that was well ahead of the completion date in 2020. An estimated $10 million was saved through innovations and resolved issues. The pier foundation design was reduced at 32 locations using micropiles. And the team used lightweight fiberglass reinforced polymers, or FRP, composite decks to create 5 FRP bridges that reduced the size of the foundations placed adjacent to Lake Tahoe. They also used precast concrete box culvert sections for the pedestrian tunnel. For partnering, the team excelled on their approach to public relations, and they were highly innovative through an intense collaborative effort. Congratulations to the State Route 28 Lake Tahoe East Shore Trail team for your honorable mention award. So next up, we have State Route 4 Balfour Road Interchange. That's a civil construction category 2 project. The owner was the Contra Costa Transportation Authority. The prime was a joint venture of Brosomer and Wall Incorporated and Bay Cities Paving and Grading. The design was Quincy Engineering, CM was Somas, and the partnering facilitator was Pinnacle Leadership Group. This project was a $42.7 million grade separation and interchange at the intersection of State Route 4 and Balfour Road to relieve heavy traffic congestion. The project included a new bridge crossing, loop-on ramps, diagonal off-ramps, signals, and signage. Project outcomes: the project had an excellent safety record and they were able to save $675,000 on the project. Despite 60 days of rain, it was finished within schedule and delivered one season early. Prior to the project, 3 to 4 traffic accidents per week were experienced at the intersection. Since project completion to the writing of the application, no State Route 4 accidents were experienced at that intersection. For collaboration and innovations, documents were delivered electronically and paperless bidding was implemented to reduce waste and paper. Stakeholders included Caltrans, the City of Brentwood, and Contra Costa Water District. The team combined phases by allowing pile driving to occur concurrent to their other activities, which increased the efficiency of worker flow to shorten the schedule. The team used day shifts to improve safety and reduce nighttime noise impacts to nearby residents. Congratulations to the State Route 4 Balfour Road Interchange Project team for your Honorable Mention Award.
And now it's time to start talking about the partnered projects of the year for the civil construction category 1. These are projects that are valued at under $25 million. The first partner project of the year award for civil category 1 is the Highway 20 Curve Realignment and Shoulder Widening Project. The owner of this project was Caltrans, the prime was Flatiron West, the designer was from Caltrans, and the partnering facilitator was Pinnacle Leadership Group. This was a shoulder and roadway widening project to increase public safety features and expand state commerce near Smartsville, California. The team needed to excavate about 140,000 cubic yards and did about 75,000 cubic yards of rock blasting with 2 miles of highway realignment and a precast concrete girder bridge. The team had no injuries and completed within schedule and within the adjusted budget. Ultimately, the team resolved more than $2.7 million in issues, including a large differing site condition due to substantial unknown hard rock in the excavation locations. They also developed a value engineering proposal to reduce the working days by updating the highway alignment more efficiently and reduced impacts to the traveling public. The precast girder bridge also had 150-foot long precast girders that they had to assemble in difficult terrain. In order to support the job, they held quarterly partnering meetings and used definable features of work meetings with 3-phase quality control to focus the partnership's attention on planning the work and executing it extremely well. Please join me in congratulating the Highway 20 Curve Realignment and Shoulder Widening Project team for their Sapphire Level Partnering Award. Up next is the BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport Taxiway Bravo Reconstruction Project. The owner of this project was Maryland Department of Transportation, Maryland Aviation Administration. The prime was Alan Myers. The designer was Michael Baker International. The CM was Parsons Infrastructure. The PM, the program manager, were Airport Design Consultants, Inc., and the facilitator was Ventura Consulting Group. This was a $10.38 million project that involved the full reconstruction of BWI Thurgood Marshall's Airport's Taxiway Bravo, a 1,350-foot section of roadway, which was the primary access from the North Cargo Apron and the international sections of the terminal to the airfield. This project was 75% funded by the FAA Airport Improvement Program. The team completed 25,000 hours with no safety incidents, and they were able to work together to rephase the job and complete it 31 days ahead of schedule by October 25th, well in advance of Thanksgiving, which was the best schedule outcome of all of our projects in this year's applicant pool. As I said, this is the best schedule outcome of any of our projects in the applicant pool. The project also finished $1.17 million under budget. As I said earlier, the team managed to combine their phases and shorten the overall duration by 31 days, which is about 13.5%. And to accomplish this goals, Myers and the subcontractors worked 15 to 16-hour shifts 6 days a week, and in exchange were able to extend the apron area. To speed up things on the owner's side, they collaboratively shortened submittal and shop drawing reviews and used confirming RFIs so people had to request things once. The team also handled the small move of the private essential air service carriers with class. This is important because these are the smaller carriers that are private businesses, so they were treated just as the major carriers were. The team also came up with a VE idea to use e-concrete as an alternate base material to speed cure times at no cost to the job. The team also created Bravo Awards to recognize partnering champions. This was really cool. I think one of the great things that comes out of any collaborative partnering effort is coming up with better ways to recognize the team. Of course, we've had to pivot with a virtual one, but they came up with one that really tied to the Bravo project. What they did was they took core samples from Taxiway Bravo, and the designer created an award. They put together an award, so on the core sample, they could deliver that to the partnering champion each quarter. They had partnering champions from the design team, from the project management team, and they even delivered one to the FAA ramp tower. They brought it up to help and say thank you to the FAA team. Please join me in congratulating the BWI Marshall Airport Taxiway Bravo Reconstruction Team for their Diamond Level Partnering Award. The other that I can't define how good of a team this was as well as they can themselves. So up to hear from the team, we've got a short video with the BWI team.
I have the privilege of working with the executive team and meeting with them on a monthly basis. So I get to be part of that, I'm going to call it more intimate conversation that's happening at that level. And I think it's at that level that you see the commitment from all those parties at the executive level who are championing the partnering spirit throughout. And when you see that and you know that it's happening at that level, then you know that that's going to ripple down through the rest of the team, because that's the sentiment at the beginning of the job, at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of any task. And when you have that mindset and that partnering mentality, like Eric has said, you can get through anything, the good and the bad. You don't have as much bad as what I found, and the good is really, really good.
And when you look at the small costs of partnering on a major capital project with the outcome, it more than pays for itself. Plus, when we get finished with the project, we all frankly come to know and respect each other far better than we would just going through the classical perfunctory project progress meetings and site inspections and reports, yada, yada, yada. Partnering creates relationships and helps us to work through challenges. And we had our share of challenges, but that's the way we looked at them, not as issues, but as challenges.
Everybody got along. Once you open that honesty door, there wasn't one person on the team that didn't get along with anywhere, and that's rare. It's fun to come to work. Through the years of the partnering process we've had, we're always able to relook at the phasing and being able to partner through the owner, through their eyes, and how we can help with the phasing. It's always critical, and we've found better ways to do it. And the owner's always been open to making small changes to help with schedule. And that's really the difference.
I suspect it's for all the extra.
Our final Civil Category 1 project is the San Francisco International Airport Runway 28 Left reconstruction. The owner was the City and County of San Francisco Airport Commission. The contractor is Golden Gate Constructors, a joint venture of D. Silva Gates Construction and Granite Rock Construction. The designer was SFO Engineering. The project management support systems was by AECOM, and the partnering facilitator was Orgmetrics LLC. This was an $11.4 million project involving the reconstruction of runway 28 Lima between taxiways Echo and Lima, crossing runways one left and one right. The goal was to improve the long-term durability and performance of the runway. The team removed the full existing pavement structure to subgrade and reconstructed the runway from the ground up. They installed about $900,000 of value per day. They also repaired 2 deteriorated storm drain lines and replaced lighting infrastructure. In terms of outcomes, the project was outstanding. They had a perfect safety record and completed the 14-day closure 2 full days ahead of schedule. This is a sophisticated team, and they used fast action strategic teams, or FAST teams, that focused on the resolution of key risks to the job. They created fast teams for civil, unforeseen conditions, construction, traffic, electrical, and many others. This project had 2 phases, and 1 week before the first shutdown started, so phase 1 was 7 days, phase 2 was 7 days, the civil team discovered a substantial drainage alignment conflict. Fontenoy Engineering, the underground sub and a new player on SFO's runway projects, identified the conflict and worked with the engineering team to propose 2 potential solutions within 2 days. They priced each option and had a new design and direction to the team within 5. The electrical fast team discovered an existing center line lighting that was buried shallow and would be damaged when they started grinding operations. The team didn't have light cans ready, except that Royal Electric, the subcontractor, were able to provide attic stock replacements and drove them down from Sacramento in time, saving 8 to 10 weeks of procurement time while SFO Engineering updated the design. The traffic fast team also came up well when they worked out a deal with the city of Millbrae to have the police direct traffic at Airport Boulevard. This was critical because it's a key junction for the 101 freeway. It's also the TNC, Uber and Lyft parking lot, and it was the primary access for the 900 trucks that had to enter and exit the airport during the shutdown. This is an outstanding team that executed at a high level and in fact was the highest point earning project in this year's applications. Please join me in congratulating the SFO Runway 28 Left Reconstruction Project team for their Diamond Level Partnering Award.
To me, if you're an owner, this is the thing you need to be really thinking about is doing this partnering with contractors and bring all the folks on board, and so that collaboratively you come up with a solution to solve the problems that will come up during projects, and have that open discussions on setting goals and expectations. So I definitely recommend it if you aren't already doing so.
Our original owner had a statement to me many years ago that I still live by. We all live in the same communities. We all have the same issues. We have families and stuff like that. Imagine a world where if you walked into a diner and the people that you worked with didn't like you because you were so argumentative and you had a bad time. Now imagine going to the same diner and there's Daniel Lee with his children. I can go over and say, hi, how are you? And he says, hi, how are you back? That's just a much better place to be. That's what partnering will do for you.
Partnering has always been something that I've done, for the years that I've been in this business. We didn't call it partnering. We in the beginning we would call it let's go down and have a drink or something, and we would just get together and talk the project through. And so it's sort of always been there. It's now it has a little bit more formality.
I love the partnering process to set expectations for the teams, to work collaboratively, and be winning the championship together. And I think the partnering process, Rob, from your input from the projects that I've worked on with you, we do win the championship. And I think we set the bar high, and that when we get a project, we want to win that cup at the end.
And now we're here for Buildings and Public Infrastructure, Category 1. First project is the Hetch Hetchy 991 Mountain Tunnel Interim Repairs. Buildings and Public Infrastructure under $25 million. The owner is the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. The prime was Sierra Mountain Construction. The designer, McMillan Jacobs Associates Incorporated. Construction manager, San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, and the facilitator was J.B. Rom, Ph.D. This Hetch Hetchy Mountain Tunnel Interim Repairs project was a project that involved a 60-day full shutdown of the 19-mile-long mountain tunnel that delivers approximately 80% of the water from Yosemite National Park to 2.7 million customers in the San Francisco Bay Area. The scope involved draining the concrete tunnel and repairing the tunnel lining to improve the reliability of water conveyance for the next 100 years. Project outcomes: the shutdown was completed 2 days early and the project was finished 4 days ahead of schedule. The $6.8 million project was delivered within the contingency budget. And the project scope also included repairing the Kirkwood Powerhouse bypass dissipation structure and the bypass lining. $722,000 was saved through collaboration. Issues resolved included extensive pre-planning by the project team, which was performed before the shutdown. The Sierra Mountain project manager and the PUC's resident engineer were given high levels of empowerment to resolve issues in the field. And the team developed a fair solution for the San Francisco PUC to hold pre-bid site tours for other contractors once the primary construction was completed. And for partnering adaptations, the team used helicopters to transport and deliver fresh concrete, which preserved concrete quality and workability. Join me in congratulating the Hetch Hetchy 991 Mountain Tunnel Interim Repairs Project team for their Sapphire Level Partnering Award.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
And now, moving towards our next project, Pier 91 Backlands Improvement Project. The owner was the Port of San Francisco. The prime was Hoseley Corporation. The designer was San Francisco Public Works. The subcontractor, Fontenoy Engineering. And the facilitator, J.B. Rom, Ph.D. The Pier 94 Backlands Improvement Project involved clearing and grubbing of 25 acres of land and soil excavation of over 100,000 cubic yards. The scope of work included upgrades to storm drainage, slip lining of an outfall in the bay, and connecting two 15,000-foot swales with large diameter HDPE and reinforced concrete pipes. The team also capped the landfill and installed a new 54,000 square foot roadway with paved cul-de-sacs. Project outcomes: the $7.5 million project was within the project budget contingency and within the amended schedule. A perfect safety record was attained. An estimated $1.39 million was saved due to collaboration. That's $1 spent in facilitation equals $296 in savings. The team found a foundation pile protruding in the pipeline during the cleaning, and they ultimately used a smaller sized pipeline to bypass the obstruction. That saved 2 weeks and was a significant issue to resolve. The team developed an alternative capping design for the landfill that involved the layering of HDPE liner and woven geotextiles with an aggregate cover that saved $850,000. The team worked together to find a cleaning subcontractor and moved quickly to get them engaged before the rainy season. Join me in congratulating the Pier 94 Backlands Improvement Project for their Sapphire Level Partnering Award. Next, we move to the Golden Gate Park Oak Woodlands Trail Improvement Project. It's a public infrastructure under $25 million. The owner is the San Francisco Recreation and Park Department, and the prime was Yerba Buena Engineering and Construction. The designer was the San Francisco Public Works Department. Key subcontractors were Campbell Grading and K-Pax Group. The facilitator was Orgmetrics LLC. This is a $1.56 million trails project in Golden Gate Park that rejuvenated a beautiful section of the Oak Woodlands trails that had been badly neglected since the 1990s. The trail, which was named the Phil Arnold Trail after a former city employee and advocate for urban trails. The new trail replaced informal trails with a unified, properly graded, and surface trail with box steps, erosion control, and drainage improvements. 30 hazardous trees were removed, and invasive plants were replaced with a half-acre of native plants. Project outcomes included the project was completed within time and within the adjusted schedule due to rain delays in 2019. The project had a perfect safety record finished within the budget contingency and had no rework and improved strong stakeholder relationships in the project. Issues resolved include the Yerba Buena team eliminated 12 of the 16 planned rolling dips, saving $12,000, eliminated 49 box steps, saving $28,000, and completed 20 days ahead of schedule. The team saved $192,000 and 26 days on the project. For partnering adaptations, the team used 2 scorecards and 2 partnering sessions on the project to support field-level issue resolution and momentum. They also used frequent job walks between the construction superintendent and park and recreation project manager to resolve issues in real time. Join me in congratulating the Golden Gate Park Oak Woodlands Trail Improvement Project for their Ruby level park.
Projects valued between $25 million and $250 million. Our first project is the Arizona Department of Transportation I-40 Cataract Lake Road Parks T1, based in Williams, Arizona. The owner is Arizona Department of Transportation. The prime is Fan Contracting, Inc. The CM was Civil Solutions and was internally facilitated by ADOT staff. The project involved the rehabilitation of 16.5 miles section of I-40 West through the city of Williams and continued east to the park's T1. This included the upgrade of the main entrance to the Grand Canyon National Park, the 64 traffic interchange, and importantly, the Bearizona Wildlife Attraction in Williams. The project had a 10.5 mile section of mill and fill and about 6 miles of full reconstruction from subgrade. The project was completed safely, and it was completed within the adjusted schedule and resolved about $3.65 million of changes to deliver the job. In terms of partnering, the team did an excellent job. They resolved an estimated $3.125 million of issues and reduced the total construction schedule by 6 months by resequencing the job. The big issue was that the team discovered that several portions of the mill and pave sections were failing. It was becoming a big safety issue for the traveling public, and so they moved up that section of work in the schedule from 2019 to 2018. In order to make that happen, ADOT had to extend the winter suspension timeframe, and the team also updated the mix design to allow the fan team to pave until Christmas 2018. By doing this, they were able to complete the safety elements of the project first, which helped the traveling public through Christmas as it got to bad weather. The team also enhanced safety by adding about $1 million in signage and guardrail, and also added an overlay to the existing eastbound lanes after they modified the sequencing. Join me in congratulating the ADOT I-40 Cataract Lake Rogues Park T1 project for their Sapphire Level Partnering Award. Our next project is the San Francisco Creek Flood Control Project based in Palo Alto, California. This had a joint owner between San Francisco Creek Joint Powers Authority and the Santa Clara Valley Water District. The prime was Tykert Construction, the construction manager was Mott McDonald, and the facilitator was Orgmetrics LLC. This was an incredibly complex project that took years and years to put together. It involved a 1.5-mile stretch of improvements along a creek to prevent floods. Previous flooding during an El Nino year in 1998, which for me rained out half our soccer season, also caused about $40 million in damages to the Palo Alto area. This project protected property and infrastructure between East Bayshore Road and the San Francisco Bay. It took the team roughly 30 years to put together the financing for this project, and then they realized they had a major budgetary shortfall. So ultimately, this $30 million project involved 5,600 feet of flood walls, 5,900 feet of levees, and involved 58 acres of improvements. They also added a bike and pedestrian bridge, and the team added new bay trails. The level of coordination for this project was staggering. They worked with 32 agencies and stakeholders. They had a competing golf course construction project. There were PG&E electrical and gas projects. They had an adjacent Caltrans 101 bridge project. They had school schedules that they had to manage, and there was an adjacent sanitary sewer main. Due to all of the third-party issues, in-channel construction was originally limited to only 6 weeks per year. Ultimately, by working with all of these stakeholders and having them participate in the partnering effort, the team was able to work out an extension so the project could work 10 weeks each summer. Ultimately, they finished the job 50 days early within the amended budget, and they had an excellent safety record. They also reduced a potential $15 million budgetary issue, and they resolved it for about $3 million by using alternative solutions for surplus soil. They also managed environmental requirements involving several protected species, requiring the team to hand clear about 61 acres of marshland. While they were in there, they also discovered an unknown dump site. So they had to pull out about 750 tires and all sorts of different debris out of the creek. The team also expanded that 6-week work window to 10 weeks by working with all of the authorities. To manage this, they set up executive, core, and stakeholder partnering, and they used an executive management team to resolve challenging issues and change orders each month. Please join me in congratulating the San Francisco Creek Flood Control Project team for their Ruby Level Partnering Award. Our next project is the Nevada Department of Transportation I-80 Keystone to State Line project in Keystone, Nevada, right near the state border. The owner is Nevada Department of Transportation. The prime contractor is Q&D Construction. The design group is from NDOT. The construction management group is California Group, and the facilitator was Ventura Consulting Group. This project involved the update of 12 miles of an interstate freight corridor for Reno and Tahoe residents. This 12-mile highway restoration project included hydraulic and stormwater improvements, safety improvements, structural rehabilitation, and ITS elements, including an important wrong-way driver warning system in northern Nevada. The project finished within their amended schedule and budget of $47.65 million, and they had a good safety record. The big issue that the team had to work through was the accelerated design. As we all know, sometimes an entity needs to get a design out quickly, and that's what happened with this project. They had to get, in order to have it funded, they had to get the design out by 2018. The team knew this, and so managed it as a team. And ultimately, they were able to open the Keystone Avenue underpass early. How did they do it? They did a lot of value engineering and working together on the phasing and schedule. The first thing they did was they worked on full depth reconstruction of the pavement at the approach and trailing edges of the bridges. And they added guardrail, flattened the slopes, and added additional erosion control. They also had to make changes to the ITS layout and design and bid items, and had to make regular quantity adjustments to make sure that the team was being fair as they worked through the job. The team also could not accomplish one of the requirements of the project. The requirement was that they had a multi-layer polymer overlay during the spring months, but at that time it was too cold to use that type of overlay. So the team built and patented a new machine to speed the application of the polymer overlay. Ultimately, they also agreed on a 2-night overlay where they could reduce traffic down to 1 lane. By working together and innovating, they were able to figure out what was initially thought to be an impossible problem. The team also used partnering to work through staff changes, and because they were working night shifts and odd hours, they held regular breakfast burrito days for folks. I know that always helps lift my spirits. They also ran into unanticipated drainage structures, and they were often responded to within one shift. Please join me in congratulating the I-80 Keystone to State Line project team for the Ruby Level Partnering Award. For our next project, we head north to Washington to look at the Northgate Link Extension track work from UW Station to Northgate Station N180 in Seattle, Washington. This was a complicated project that was owned by Sound Transit. The contractor was Stacy & Whitbeck Incorporated. The designer was WSP. The CM was the North Star joint venture, and the facilitator was Ventura Consulting Group. This was a 4.3 mile addition to the Sound Transit's light rail system. What was interesting about it was that they had to install and test all track work in two parallel 3.5 mile, 80-foot deep parallel tunnels, and then they had to take that across an elevated guideway. The interesting wrinkle was that this was between and underneath the University of Washington, and it ran to a new Northgate station. The big complexity was the vibration that could be caused by construction because it was directly under University of Washington research facilities, who tend not to like vibration in electromagnetic fields very much. So the team had to work with UW as well as their stakeholders on either side of each tunnel. They couldn't make too much noise, they couldn't cause too much vibration, and all of this is really difficult when you're trying to build something. The other piece that was critical was for Stacy & Whitbeck as the contractor to be able to procure all the materials in a timely fashion. Half the budget was associated with the 5 hertz floating slab track beneath UW, including the track and other associated materials. The team ultimately completed the $76 million project within budget and contingency. They finished 30 days early, 6%, and had a great safety record and saved about $1.35 million. There were also 5 concurrent Sound Transit projects they had to coordinate with. 1 was a tunnel boring job, 3 had stations, and there was also a systems contract. Each of these had interdependencies, so they used a CIP management group to work through those. They also folded King County Metro, Sound Transit, and the University of Washington stakeholders into their partnering process. In order to keep spirits high, the management team held pizza lunches and employee appreciation barbecues to keep everybody supported and morale up. Please join me in congratulating the Northgate Link Extension track work from UW Station to Northgate Station for their Ruby Level Partnering Award. We're now going to move down south to Pasadena, California to learn a little bit more about the Route 210 roadway rehabilitation project. The owner of this job was Caltrans, the prime was Flatiron West, the designer was Caltrans, and the partnering facilitator was W.E. McLeish Associates. This was a $79.3 million project consisting of the rehabilitation of distressed pavement sections and upgraded lighting, electrical systems, overhead signage, and roadway elements in an extremely busy section of Los Angeles County, although which sections of Los Angeles County aren't extremely busy on the freeways. The team had to coordinate with key stakeholders, including the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade, the City of Pasadena, La Cañada Flint Ridge, and many others, including a Jet Propulsion Lab and several events. The team had to work through a challenging job and ultimately added about 211 days, but also resolved more than 200 change orders valued at about $19 million. The project finished within budget and contingency, and by working together, saved about $6.3 million due to their collaborative relationships, an impressive $190 saved for every dollar they invested in their partnering effort. The outcome was excellent. They had nearly 30 ramps, and on all of those, they delivered them 33% of schedule, 33% ahead of schedule, in 30 days on their 45-day schedule. The team was also innovative. They eliminated precast panels in the connectors, and they replaced reinforced concrete from existing on-site materials, which saved Caltrans about $4 million. They also eliminated Class 3 base from the project, saving $760,000. They also piloted 2 innovations in design. First, with a precast pavement panel connection, which is now a standard for future Caltrans projects, and the team had to work from the field all the way up to Caltrans headquarters in order to get that design change approved. The second was when they piloted a 2-lift composite pavement system with recycled pavement for the FHWA. The team managed to work with the city of Pasadena to get a batch plan on site, which really helps our builders reduce trucking and congestion and ultimately reduces environmental impact of the job. And perhaps most importantly, they opened the eastbound Berkshire on-ramp and Arroyo off-ramp in time for a May 21st, 22nd Rose Bowl. And there were also 2 U2 concerts and an open house at the laboratory that they had to work with. It was amazing what an empowered resident engineer and project manager can do when the team gets aligned behind them being really successful. Please join me in congratulating the Route 210 rehabilitation team for their well-deserved Ruby Level Partnering Award. So we're going to hear a little bit more about this project from the project team themselves.
Together with Flatiron, we met their concerns and even got praise from the mayor of La Cañada, saying that Caltrans had worked quickly to resolve their concerns, and they were very happy with it. And
this was a very well qualified, well positioned team that took it upon themselves to do everything that should have been done. They coordinated, they communicated effectively, and they made things happen. And that's a credit to them.
We started with Caltrans, months before closing ramps, and actually put together a pre-planned schedule, almost like an hour-by-hour schedule as far as when the work would be accomplished, when we would close down the ramps.
Oh, successful because we worked together. There was a lot of collaboration. There was a lot of things that had never been done before, and we worked through those. We had it was the biggest precast contract ever led in the United States when we started the job. Some of the precast was supposed to go through some connectors with some curves, pretty radical curves on the connectors, and we ended up making some changes on that. And for the first time ever, we used a rapid strength concrete, and we put a mat of rebar in every panel. So that was good too. That was another good innovation that we all worked together on.
Yeah, I would say this is a successful project because I think as a team, Flatiron, Caltrans, we collaborated, we got things done. We use the partnering techniques. We use the escalation ladder. We were driven to have safety as a key element of the project. We were able to work with the Rose Parade Committee, and they were very thankful for that. Rose Bowl Committee also, they had a lot of events like U2 concert and other concerts. We were responsible to provide them access for the ramps, and through our collaboration, we were able to allow those ramps to be open in time for the events. So I would say that the partnering was great on this job.
The last project for the Civil Category 2 is a State Route 99 realignment project based in Fresno, California. The owner of this project was the California High-Speed Rail Authority. The prime was Granite Construction. The designer was Caltrans District 6. The subcontractors were Tykert and AC Electric Company. Dawson Molden Construction, Inc. and MCM Construction also contributed as key subcontractors. The facilitator for this project was Ventura Consulting Group. If you thought moving was bad, this team really had to figure that out. Ultimately, they had to shift about 2 miles of State Route 99 80 feet west to make room for high-speed rail corridor between Merced and Fresno. In the project, 3 overcrossings were demolished and reconstructed. They coordinated with PG&E, AT&T, City of Fresno, and several other municipalities. This outstanding team finished the project 4 days ahead of schedule. They finished within the $161.8 million budget and transformed a $15 million budget shortfall into a savings of about $29 million due to partnering. The team also was able to reduce the schedule by 18 months. How'd they do it? The first thing they did was reduced a 24-month phased construction program and changed that into a 6-month full closure of Clinton Avenue. In order to make this happen, the CMGC project team had to work with the City of Fresno, the Union Pacific Railroad, and all of their stakeholders in order to make this innovation happen. The team estimated that they saved about $27 million when they did this. The team also used a concrete gravity wall in lieu of spread footings, which saved about $1.3 million to the project. And another key highlight that was pointed out by the team related to how they resolved easement conflicts with 2 key hotels and areas in Fresno. The first was the Hacienda Hotel. The second was the Fresno Rescue Mission. Initially, they were going to have to damage part of the hotel and part of the rescue mission based on how the easements were aligned. For those who aren't aware, the Hacienda Hotel was a very famous set of hotels in California. And in fact, Elvis Presley would often stay at the Hacienda Hotel in Fresno. So the team actually got to tour and check out where he stayed. They had some memorabilia in there, and it was a pretty neat moment for the team to figure that out and ultimately negotiate it so these key sites could be preserved. To partner the project, they used third-party derivative partnering sessions to work with the utilities, government agencies, and other entities that could have made this project highly successful or a total nightmare. And fortunately, they were able to pull it off and work together, creating an excellent success story for Caltrans' early attempts at CMGC, and also a great success story for the High-Speed Rail Authority. Please join me in congratulating the State Route 99 project team for the Ruby Level Partnering Award. We also wanted to hear from this outstanding team. You know, there are some times when you talk to a project team and it's as clear as day that they had a great time working together. They built the job and they built relationships. This was one of those teams that really stuck out because of the friendships that they developed. Let's hear from them.
It was one of the first CMGC projects. It was still in the pilot phase. So for Caltrans, it was important that we had a successful project. It was also important for us to deliver the project so that high-speed rail could be successful. What made this project extremely successful is that we were able to partner with a contractor that we could go out into the community, make commitments, and then follow through on them and do what we said we were going to do. And that's, I think, one of the key things or the key takeaways from this project.
You know, it's not that we agreed all the time. We had our disagreements. I think the special thing was about, even through our disagreements, we were able to address the problems with respect and trust, right? Understanding what was the alternate viewpoint.
So this definitely was a world-class team, and there was that commitment from the beginning to do whatever it was going to take to be successful as a team.
The level of trust, the level of integrity, and the level of I got your back is just extraordinary on this team. I could walk into Mike's office and be very transparent with, I've got a problem, And I could do exactly the same thing and sit in Mike's office and be very transparent, and you've got a problem, but it wasn't mine or yours, it was ours. And what do you think about how we're going to solve whatever this problem happens to be? There's nothing this team couldn't do because we knew we had each other's backs and we could solve problems because we're good at what we do and we're going to watch out for each other. So, I mean, I'd go with this team anywhere.
And now, vertical buildings, public infrastructure, category 2. This project's $25 million to $250 million. And we start with this SFO long-term parking garage 2. The owner is the City and County of San Francisco Airport Commission. The prime is Nibby Brothers General Contractors. The designer is DLR FMG Joint Venture. The PMSS is Allen Group and Cooper Pugeda Associates Joint Venture. The structural engineer, Watry Bueller Collaborative. Subcontractor, Baumel Construction. And the facilitator is Orgmetrics. It was a $153 million progressive design build project. 6 stories, 1.2 million square feet of parking garage with 3,600 stalls on the northwestern section of SFO. The scope included automated parking guidance, Wi-Fi, electrical vehicle charging stations, and photovoltaic panels that power the garage and supplement the airport electrical grid. This was the first progressive design build project delivered by the Nibby and DLR Group FMG team, and is the largest project ever delivered by Nibby Brothers. For project outcomes, the project was completed within the guaranteed maximum price, budget, and contingency. It was completed 82 days ahead of final completion schedule. And the team resolved more than 205 change orders valued at roughly $35 million and saved the project more than $11 million through design improvements and by reducing the construction schedule from 28 to 24 months. For key issues resolved, the team reduced the footprint by 200,000 square feet by switching from a pie-shaped to orthogonal design that saved $8 million and reduced the schedule by 10 weeks. The number of special systems rooms was reduced from 19 to 7, saving $2.5 million and improving construction and maintenance efficiencies. $2 million of scope was added to deliver the infrastructure for the Art Light exhibit in the entry elevators. And for partnering innovations, the partnering sessions were flexible in size and ranged from large team meetings to executive team members to smaller group meetings, depending on the needs. They enjoyed outstanding coordination with the inspection and code enforcement team, and they co-located everyone to build a one-team identity. Join me in congratulating the SFO Long-Term Parking Garage 2 project team for their Ruby Level Partnering Award.
And now they pay paradise to put up a fucking lie. One night.
And next we go to San Jose for the Mineta San Jose International Airport Interim Facility 6 Gates. The owner is Mineta San Jose International Airport. The owner is the City of San Jose. Hensel Phelps Construction was the prime. The designer was Fentress Architects, and the partnering facilitator was Orgmetrics. This was a $53 million progressive design build project. An interim extension was constructed and connected to Terminal B to increase the gate capacity of the fastest growing airport in the San Francisco Bay Area at that time. This is the fastest design build project ever delivered in the city of San Jose. The team received the notice to proceed in June of 2018. Steel was erected in October of 2018, and the building envelope was weather-tight by January 2019. The first 5 gates opened 2 days ahead of schedule on June 13th, 2019. Project outcomes: every project goal established by the team was met. There were no accidents or lost time incidents. It was delivered on time, within budget, and the team had a lot of fun delivering the project too. The infill was delivered in August 2019, and the sixth gate was delivered in November 2019 ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. For key issues resolved, the project program was expanded from 4 gates to 6 gates to accommodate their rapid growth. In addition, passenger boarding bridges, concessions, and an infill between Terminal B and the interim facility were added to improve the passengers' experience. The location and size of windows in the interim facility connector were changed and ultimately created a bay view window where you can see Avaya Stadium, home of the San Jose Earthquakes. Partnering innovations, the team held monthly partnering sessions and used monthly scorecards from July 2018 until June of 2019, when the first 5 gates were opened. Stakeholders included Southwest Airlines, and they had a high level of collaboration with the San Jose inspection team to support the schedule. Join me in congratulating the Mineta San Jose International Airport Interim Facility 6 Gates Project team for their Diamond Level Award. And let the teams speak for themselves in terms of what they saw and what they enjoyed.
The other thing is that, the subcontractors we partner with, trade partners, believe in partnering, right? So they're not companies that you have to force into it. They've all been around long enough and have been on jobs where they've done partnering, so they see the benefit of it when it's done right.
I think the most important thing for any successful partnering session is the facilitator, right? You have all the project team members, all the project partners willing to come together and kind of get in a room and talk about issues and make sure that they're aligned and everything. But having a facilitator who comes in with not a cookie cutter method, but just more of a precise approach that's more specific to the project. Somebody who understands the project. What are the issues in the project? What could be the issues? What are the people? What are the players? What are the stakeholders? The whole, has a holistic view of the whole process of how the organization, what is the culture of the organization, how the organization approaches. So those things is very important in a facilitator who comes in, and now everybody's more comfortable saying, okay, we're working together, and there's somebody out here who's guiding us towards our goal, who is, understanding of where we want to go, where we are, and how we're going to get there.
The next step. And, everyone was working together. And, as much as there was so much to get done, it was still, we had a lot of fun. We relied on each other, and we knew that everyone was kind of striving to that same common goal of getting it done on time and with the right detailing and completion of just intent.
And congratulations to all our award winners. We certainly had a wonderful crop of projects this year. And this year, we honor one individual with the Chairman's Award. The award is IPI's highest individual honor, the Partnering Champion. I'd like to invite Ivar Sataro, IPI Board President, to present this year's Chairman's Award.
Thanks, Stuart. And I just have to say how impressed I am with all of the projects this year. Just incredible achievements. And I see the significance and the complexity of what you've all done. And I'll tell you, partnering makes all the difference in working through all of those challenges. So congratulations. And now I am just honored to present this year's Chairman's Award. It's given to that volunteer over the past year who has really demonstrated that commitment not only to the successful implementation of partnering, but also to supporting IPI and our mission. IPI is about passing along the good news of partnering. It is about teaching others. It is about sharing best practices and demonstrating to the industry that there is a better way to deliver projects. Over the past 2 years, when our organization absolutely needed the most help it has ever, this individual really stepped up. He's traveled across the United States to lead several collaborative partnering orientation trainings and donated those proceeds to the organization. He's guided the awards program. He has supported our research efforts and, in fact, introduced IPI to our Michigan State University research partners. The value of an organization is really revealed when the chips are down and needs people to step up, and this person has always stepped up on behalf of IPI. And it is my pleasure to recognize the first ever two-time recipient of the IPI Chairman's Award, Larry Eisenberg.
Congratulations, Larry. You've done much to support IPI, and we greatly appreciate it. So I'm here to present the Partnering Champion Award, which is IPI's highest honor to an organization. And partnering was implemented within the engineering and construction division of this organization to improve how everyone works together and has facilitated the internal communications amongst all employees. When the Oroville Dam spillway issues became known, the value of the collaborative training was easily recognized. Staff worked together to develop solutions amongst themselves and with the contractors who implemented the solutions, leading to a very, very successful conclusion. So this year's honoree is the Department of Water Resources Engineering and Construction Division. Please join me in congratulating the Engineering and Construction Division of the Department of Water Resources for being the 2020 Partnering Champion. And now, I would like to extend a thank you to the Cal Poly Experience Industry Management Department, Dr. Kevin Lynn and the Cal Poly students, Amy Evans, Courtney Frickman, Andy Humphreys, Haley Hoffman, and Hannah Satterell. They were all very instrumental in assisting IPI with the development of this year's ceremony. Plus our volunteers, Mary Alice Avila and Rob Ray. The IPI Judges Panel and the SFO Media Team, including Peter Biaggi, Kat Cole, Kenneth Fung, Greer Matthews, and Charles Schuler. But first, let's hear from our EIM students.
Hi everyone, my name is Courtney Frickman and I'm part of the EIM planning team from Cal Poly. I think this event has been different from previous, obviously, because it is in a virtual format, but that doesn't mean we can't still have fun with it, right? It's been a little difficult trying to learn a whole new way of doing things, but it's been awesome because it's allowed us to get really creative and think of ways to keep everyone involved and entertained.
Hi there, my name is Andy Humphreys and I'm a fourth year Experience Industry Management student minoring in law, and it's been an amazing opportunity to plan this event. All the other EIM students that I've been working with have been really fantastic, and working with IPI has been really great.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a Cal Poly student. My favorite part of planning it has just been like meeting new people, because a lot of the other students from the Cal Poly EIM department I didn't know before, so it's been fun kind of working with them, talking to them every week.
Hi, my name is Amy and I'm a third year Cal Poly EIM student, and I was a part of the IPI planning team. I think that planning this event and just learning about the process was so cool and so important for the future of the experience management.
Hi, my name is Haley Hoffman and I'm an incoming senior in Cal Poly's EIM department. My favorite part of planning this event was watching our ideas come to life and bringing all the elements together to create a cohesive virtual experience.
So again, thank you, Cal Poly EIM students. We really appreciate your assistance. We encourage everyone to get involved, join a committee, participate in an event, become a member, and download and share the research. Our members are the lifeblood of the organization. We look forward to taking IPI to the next level. And I'll ask Ivar to come back up for closing remarks.
Thanks, Stuart. And thank you so much for attending the 11th Annual IPI Partnering Awards Ceremony. I hope you enjoyed the show and had as much fun tuning in and participating as we did developing it. As we said in the opening, this is an important year for IPI. We have new leadership in Stuart Seiden, new committees, new research, and look forward to working through 2020 and continuing to serve the members to support the culture change of construction. At SFO, we are committed to delivering exceptional projects. Partnering is central to the way we operate as a business and how we work with our construction project teams. I hope you continue to support IPI by joining as a member, by getting involved in committees, or by reading and sharing our emerging research. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. And now, I'd like to bring up Rob Ray and H from a
We are so pleased today to have H. Joseph Ehrman, the 12th proprietor of Elixir, to show us how to mix a proper cocktail. Today, we're really excited, and I hope that you guys can learn a little bit more about what a cocktail is, how it's done, and the right way to set it up and enjoy it. So, H, over to you.
Thank you very much. Hope you're all thirsty. I'm going to go through a couple of different core concepts here for how to make a cocktail. We're going to cover two different formulas, the cocktail itself and the sour. And we're going to start with the cocktail because the cocktail goes back to the early 1800s. The first publication of a definition of a cocktail was in 1806 in a New York newspaper called The Balance, where it defined it as having spirit, bitters, sugar, and water. Those four components. So if you think of those four components as adjectives that create a formula for building a drink that would fall into the cocktail formula, it would be strong, being spirit, weak, being water, which thins it out, sweet, to make it more palatable, and bitter, to give it some complexity. So those four components come together to what is the original cocktail. Today we call all mixed drinks cocktails, but prior to Prohibition, each of the different families of drinks had a different name. There were cocktails, crustas, juleps, flips, toddies, punches. So if you look at any of the cocktail books that were published prior to Prohibition in 1919, you'll see the drinks broken down that way. The drink I'm going to show you right now is the Manhattan, which I'm sure you all know as a cocktail. And I'm going to stir this because these drinks are drinks that come together very easily by stirring them. They don't need to be shaken. Now, if you want to shake your drink, that's up to you. Don't let a bartender ever tell you you're wrong because of the way you like your drink. But you don't need to shake it. And when you shake a cocktail, it changes the structure of the drink in the mouthfeel as well as the generally the water in it or the dilution. So I'm going to start with some bourbon, which is my strong, and this is some Maker's Mark, a wheated bourbon. It's got flavors of predominantly corn because bourbon has three different grains in the mash bill, and this is what's called a wheated bourbon. It's got a very high content of wheat in there, which allows the sweetness of the corn to shine. And so I'm going to put 2 ounces of my whiskey in here, and I'm using a bunch of bar tools here today from my friend Tony Abou-Ganim, the modern mixologist. If you want to get yourself some nice bar tools, you can go to themodernmixologist.com and enter the discount code ELIXIRVIP, and you'll get 10% off of anything that you buy from there. These are great tools. Tony's a good friend. So that was 1.5 ounces side of the jigger. This jigger is great because it has a halfway mark on the inside of this, which is 3/4 of an ounce, and on the other side, the short side, you've got 1 ounce with a 1/2 ounce measure. So I did 1.5 ounces on there. I'm going to put another 1/2 ounce in there to get my 2 ounces. Now the ratio that I'm going to use on this is 2-1-2. 2 ounces of spirit to 1 ounce of sweet, which is going to be my sweet vermouth, to 2 dashes of bitters. You can use this same ratio to make a martini. If you're using 2 ounces of vodka or gin, an ounce of dry vermouth, 2 dashes of orange bitters or citrus bitters to make a martini. Both cocktails, and in both of these cases, our sweet is the vermouth. Vermouth is a wine-based product we'd call an aromatized wine. So it's wine that has its natural born sugars still in it, no added sugar to it. So it is sweet, whether it's sweet vermouth or dry vermouth, they are both still considered the sweet component. They add some botanical complexity, and in this case, with the red one, the red wine-based one, you get these red berry flavors and sweetness and spice that goes really well with the corn, plus the caramel, vanilla, chocolate, toffee, tobacco, tar, these kinds of barrel flavors that you get in a bourbon. Those go really well with the red fruit of the sweet vermouth. So 1 ounce, again on my 1 ounce side, I've got 2, 1, 2, and that's easy to remember, that ratio, 2, 1, 2, we're making a Manhattan. It's the area code of Manhattan. Coincidentally, had nothing to do with the history of the cocktail. So, bitters. These are Angostura bitters. Bitters are, newsflash, bitter. They taste bitter. Put a little bit on your hand and get a taste of that. Lick it, get it all over your mouth. You're going to notice the bitterness, but you're going to taste the flavors in there. And in Angostura bitters in particular, the flavors are warm baking spices of cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. Those go, again, really great with the toasted corn, vanilla, caramel, red berry fruits, right? See how all of this comes together? And bitters have dasher tops on them. So I'm going to put 2 dashes in here because these are potent flavor elements of any cocktail. And like I said, these are baking spice flavors, but there's a whole myriad of bitters out there with different flavors. So think of them as like the spices of the cocktail world. So I'm going to put 2 dashes in here. 1, 2. Now, this cocktail beaker is great for stirring a cocktail. If I wanted to shake it, I would use this, which I'll get into in the next drink. But I'm going to fill this up with ice now, and you want to get it really nice and full with ice. You want plenty of ice in there. You want a good ratio of liquid to ice so that you get the proper amount of dilution as well as the proper amount of chill. If you don't use enough ice, you're going to end up with something that's not quite cold enough and too much water in it. So with this, I can get my spoon in here and I can stir it. And now all of those flavors are going to dance. They're going to come together really nicely and give me a smooth texture when I pour this drink. If I were to shake a Manhattan, you wind up aerating it, which makes it effervescent, but also foamy. If you shake a Manhattan, it gets foamy. So you can see how that would change the mouthfeel as you drink the cocktail. It changes your drinking experience. If you shake a martini, you're going to get that broken layer of ice across the top. Personally, I don't like that because that ice then melts, and your martini is over diluted. I'm using a strainer here called a julep strainer. You may have seen the Hawthorne strainers, the one with a spring on it, but the julep strainer is great for these. You can go in either concave or convex, however you like. And the glass I'm using today is called a Nick and Nora. You could use a regular cocktail glass, what you might call a martini glass or a coupe. I really like these Nick and Nora glasses for Manhattans and martinis. Just going to pour that right up. You can see how nice and crisp and clean and smooth that is. And I'm going to garnish that today. You could traditionally garnish it with a maraschino cherry like this. The Luxardo company is pretty prevalent. You can find these in a lot of liquor stores, but I'm going to show you something I prefer, which is an orange peel. If you take a Y peeler, what you might call a veggie peeler, and pull off a nice piece of the peel on the outside like that, and then squeeze it so the outside of the peel expels the oils this way over the surface of the drink, you can either discard the twist or drop it in, and what happens is you get this lake of orange oils over the top, which creates this great orange aromatic as you bring the drink to your face. Give it a sip, and it's delicious. The Manhattan. Now, Moving on out of the cocktail realm, I'm going to go into the sour realm. In the sour realm, we have a different formula of sweet, sour, and strong and weak instead of sweet and bitter. Sweet and sour balance each other instead of sweet and bitter. Our spirit in this case is tequila. I'm using a Blanco tequila called El Velo that I really like. I'm going to mix it into the cocktail shaker here. This is what we call a cobbler shaker. It's got 3 parts, a cap, a strainer, and the body. Another way of using a shaker is what's called a Boston shaker, where you have 2 pieces like this. But I'm going to use the cobbler setup today since I don't have my Hawthorne strainer with me. I'm going to put my 2 ounces of tequila in here, and you can use 1.5 to 2 ounces as you care to have stronger or weaker alcohol content or strength of flavor of the tequila. And then the margarita I'm making today is called a Tommy's margarita. It's a San Francisco thing where we're using agave nectar instead of Cointreau as our sweetener, thanks to our friend Julio Bermejo here in San Francisco at Tommy's Mexican Restaurant, who created this style of making a margarita. I'm going to squeeze my lime, and I cut it down the equator so you get that kind of cut. That goes into a citrus hand press like this, face down, which is counterintuitive. You might think it drops that way, but it goes face down so that when you squeeze it, the juice comes out of the bottom here. And I'm going to measure my juice because I want to make sure I get a full ounce of juice. Because if you just say the juice of 1 lime, produce is very inconsistent, so it might not actually produce an ounce of juice. But an ounce is always an ounce. So it might take a lime, it might take a lime and a half to get there. But that gave me just about a perfect ounce. And I'm going to balance that sour with my sweet, which is agave nectar. And agave nectar is sweeter than sugar, so I'm only going to use 3/4 of an ounce of agave nectar in there on my margarita to balance that out. Put some ice on that. And I'm going to put some ice in my glass as well because I want to get nice, cold, dry ice for my cocktail and leave the broken ice behind in the shaker. Cap that off, give it a good shake. Take that top off and strain it up. Now if you want to put salt on the rim of your margarita, salt is a flavor enhancer or amplifier, so it makes your margarita flavors pop. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not doing it today. If you want to use a lime garnish on there, that's great to have in case the sweet and sour balance is off and you need to add a little sour. Otherwise, that's a Tommy's margarita, the sour formula. We have the cocktail formula, the sour formula. These are the 2 bases for most drinks out there today. Goes in all kinds of directions from there, but once you learn these 2 formulas, you've got a great start for making cocktails. Thanks a lot.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much, H. I actually picked up a lot of learning and got incredibly thirsty, so feeling a little inspired. Appreciate that. So now it's time for our trivia responses and our folks that participated. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. It took a lot of work to put it together. I've learned so much more about how to put on a decent media production than I ever could have imagined. And the amount of work that our Cal Poly EIM team and our team from SFO's media group have put in, all the hours of work that they've done, we cannot give enough thanks. It's been an incredible effort and we really deeply appreciate it. So, the answers to our quiz. The first was, for every dollar invested in partnering, how much did our team save in 2020? The answer to that was $110 in savings. The second question was, which project had the most time savings of any IPI award-winning project in 2020? The winner of that was BWI Marshall Airport Taxiway Bravo reconstruction, which finished 29 days ahead of schedule, saving 13.5% of their schedule. The third question is, how many IPI award-winning projects were involved in the Michigan State University study? The answer is 127. And who are members of IPI? All of us are members of IPI. Any of us that are key and critical to having construction projects be delivered can and should be members of this fantastic organization. And announcing our winners. Well, we have a clear winner who is our first responder with all 4 correct answers, and that was Bill McLeish of W.E. McLeish Associates. So not only is he an outstanding partnering facilitator for the 210 Road Rehab Project, he also was paying attention to the awards ceremony. So Bill, cheers to you. You're gonna have a $100 gift card coming your way, like every other gift card that should be sent right now, which will be related to DoorDash. So you can treat yourself or treat a team. Our second place winners, we had a tie with Harsh Kalbor of Michigan State University, who, let's be honest, knew one of the answers, and Neil Flesner of Ventura Consulting Group. So you both are going to receive a $50 gift card. So we really appreciate everybody participating. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for paying attention. And thank you for making IPI a fantastic organization and helping us take it to the next level. And next, I'd like to invite Stuart, who's going to share our closing thoughts. Thank you all so much, and here's Stuart.
Thank you, Rob. And thank you to everyone for joining in our 11th annual award ceremony. I'd like to again thank our Sapphire sponsors, Sierra Mountain Construction, RS&H, and Tykert Construction. And our Diamond level sponsors, Hensel Phelps, SFO, and Orgmetrics. And a huge thank you to our premier sponsor, DeSilva Gates Construction. Save the date of May 21st, 2021 for IPI's 12th annual awards event. We look forward to receiving your awards applications and seeing you there.
Thank you.